Hello travel enthusiasts and welcome to the 1000 PS Top Awards 2025. Today we've got 3 categories for you, all somehow related to the world of traveling. Sporttourer Crossover, Tourer and Chopper and Cruiser. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned. Welcome back to the 1000 PS Top Awards. As you know, this is all about which bikes have truly won over the hearts of the 1000 PS editorial team in 2025. Today we're diving into the road touring segments. So, how do we actually decide which bikes make it onto the shortlist? It's simple. The bike must have been available on the market in 2025. It doesn't have to be a brand new model, but it must have been available to buy new that year. Who was eligible to vote, and how do these rankings actually come about? Well, our editorial team is made up of quite a few members, some full-timers and some highly sought-after freelancers. This time the people who took part in the voting were Niels, Martin Bauer, Horvath, Amelie, Gregor, No Pain, Philipp Bettner, Arlo, our off-road expert, Wolf, our travel enduro expert, and yours truly. So, if you've got any complaints, you know who to blame. Just let us know right under this video. Category number 1 is a bit tricky to define because Sport Tourer and Crossover are technically 2 separate segments. But since there aren't that many models on the market, we decided to lump them together because at the end of the day, what's the goal with both? We want to cover long distances more comfortably than on a purely sporty bike. There are the classic Sport Tourers, derived from either a super sport or a naked bike, and then there are the crossovers, with a bit more suspension travel and a more upright riding position. What unites them is the 17-inch front wheel. In 10th place, we've got an old friend from our top 10 lists, the Suzuki GSXS 1000 GT. A bike that always reminds me a little of the Valhai with its broad front end, but otherwise it's a top-class sport tourer, a brilliant K5 engine packed with electronics. It was actually the first Suzuki to introduce connectivity, which is a big plus for touring, whether it's phone, navigation or even music integration. It can do it all, really, a fantastic sport tourer. Moving on to 9th place, fittingly, a 900, the BMW F900 XR. New for 2025, and it made it into our top 10. We tested it in Spain and found it to be a solid bike with a very capable engine, and for a BMW, relatively affordable too. Next up, something quite a bit pricier, especially for its engine capacity, the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus. There's simply no more tech you can cram into this segment. Radar-controlled cruise control, blind spot detector, and an unbelievably good matrix LED headlight. Of course, all that tech comes at a cost, so it didn't make it any higher on the list. Then there's an even more expensive machine that did manage to climb higher, simply because it's the only one on this list that packs over 200 horsepower. To be exact, 201. The BMW M1000 XR. We also tested it in Spain, and it's honestly insane that you can legally ride something like this on public roads. When you twist the throttle, all hell breaks loose. Of course, you'll need to have a bit of spare cash left in your wallet if you're thinking about one. In 6th place, we've got the KTM 890 SMT. For me, it's a bit of a hidden gem this year because it's currently available in Austria at an all-time low, starting from 11,990 euros new. I've just ridden it again recently. What an incredible bike. It's so much fun. On paper, it only has 105 horsepower, but that's really only half the story. We rode it alongside the Super Duke GT, and it kept up surprisingly easily. A top recommendation for taller riders too. In 5th place, right in the middle of our top 5, we've got a brand new entry for 2025, the Triumph Tiger Sport 800. It had been eagerly awaited after the success of its smaller 660 sister, and it's already selling well. I rode it for 2,000 kilometers across Scotland, and it's got plenty of power, whether you're riding solo, 2-up, or fully loaded with luggage. A fantastic concept, and at a very reasonable price too. And now we're on to the podium. You might think I'm crazy, but no. We've actually got 2 bikes in 3rd place this time, so there's no 4th. In 3rd place, the BMW S1000 XR, probably the crossover that most people think of when they hear the term. It's an absolute evergreen, freshly updated last year, and now pushes 170 horsepower to the rear wheel. So even in this tamer, road-focused version, you've still got more than enough power to make pesky naked bikes disappear from your mirrors. Sharing that 3rd place is last year's winner, the Suzuki GSXS 1000 GX. The tall Suzuki was part of our long-term test fleet last year. And it's truly a phenomenal bike. It's got a brilliant semi-active suspension, that same K5 engine it shares with the 10th place GT. And for a Suzuki, it's actually quite ambitiously priced, I have to say. But it gives a lot back in return. You hardly have to make any compromises, even on long trips. It's simply great fun in the saddle, a very well-deserved spot on the podium. In second place, we've got what we'd call the insider's tip of this segment, a bike you see far too rarely on the road, the Kawasaki Versys 1100 SE, now with an extra 100 cubic centimeters compared to last year, but with all the tried and true qualities intact. A phenomenal engine, now delivering 136 horsepower, plus a semi-active suspension system that continues to perform brilliantly. There's plenty of room, enough in fact, to seat 1 to 3 people on the back, even if you're only supposed to take one officially. The seat's definitely long enough. It's the most comfortable bike I've ridden this year, and that makes it a very worthy second place. For 3 of our testers, it actually took the top spot. But there was one bike that still came out ahead, and that brings us to the winner in the Sporttourer and Crossover category at the 1000 PS Top Awards 2025, the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT. The luxury version, the GT Plus, already made it to 8th place, but judging by Gregor's and my impressions from our video in Slovenia, it turns out you don't really need all that extra kit. The Tracer 9 GT already has fantastic lights, a great suspension setup, but skips the radar-assisted electronics and the blind spot detector. Instead, you get a proper quick shifter, and you don't have to deal with Yamaha's YMT system, which isn't everyone's cup of tea. The Tracer 9, a phenomenal all-rounder, really only has one downside, the slightly limited range. But otherwise, it's got a brilliant engine, solid standard equipment, and the overall package just works beautifully. That's why we've placed it at number 1 in the editorial ranking, because in our view, it's simply the best bike in its class. If you disagree, let me know down in the comments. And while you're at it, tell us what you think about the Top Awards format. In general, do you like it? Would you want to see any changes for next year? We're always open to your feedback. And with that, let's move on to the next category. They're heavy, they're powerful, and they come from Germany, America, or Japan. We're talking about touring bikes. There aren't that many on the market, but we've still managed to put together what I think is a very worthy top 10. Starting things off at number 10, the Harley-Davidson Street Glide, followed by number 9, the Harley-Davidson CVO Road Glide ST. The CVO models from Harley are always something special, and the Road Glide ST, with its even stronger focus on touring, fully deserves this 9th place. In 8th place, we've got the eternal rival to the big ones from Milwaukee, the Indian Pursuit Elite. Indian still has a tough time in Europe, just like Harley does, although the King of the Baggers Racing Series has helped a bit. Those absolutely wild track events where they throw these huge, slightly modified baggers around racing circuits. By the way, for anyone interested, the series finale will take place in 2026 at the Red Bull Ring on the 3rd weekend of September. 1000 PS will definitely be there in full force, because that's something you simply have to witness at least once, these iron beasts scraping their floorboards at full lean angle. It's a great addition to the Red Bull Ring calendar and to MotoGP there, and I really hope to see many of you down in Styria for it. Also appearing, there will be a variation of our number 7 bike, the Harley-Davidson Road Glide, a true touring icon from the USA. I rode it through snow and ice across Colorado in 2024, a genuine long-distance touring machine. I mentioned Germany earlier, and the next 3 spots all go to BMW, starting with number 6, the BMW R18 Transcontinental, probably the closest thing from a European manufacturer to a Harley or an Indian. 2 years ago, we had one here in a completely over-the-top purple paint job with a massive rear setup. Honestly, perfect for a couple on shaky terms going on holiday. Just turn up the stereo and you can't hear your spouse complaining from the back anymore. Joking aside, it's a brilliant machine that fully deserves its 6th place, even if commercial success has so far been limited. In 5th place, another boxer, the BMW R1300 RT. Some people like to joke it's a wardrobe on wheels, but I completely disagree. This big machine handles with incredible agility and sportiness. I knew its predecessor, the R1250 RT, very well. And now, with the new 1300, BMW has shaved off a few kilos thanks to the lighter engine borrowed from the GS. It's stronger too, with even more torque. If you're looking for a wolf in sheep's clothing, the modern, sharp-looking R1300 RT is exactly that. Nobody believes how quickly it disappears from their mirrors when you twist the throttle. Of course, BMW doesn't always have to rely on the Boxer engine for touring performance. They've also got the magnificent inline-6 in their range. The BMW K1600 GT and GTL take 4th place. I've had a lot of fun with that one in the Alps. The sound is addictive, absolutely brilliant. It reminds me a bit of Formula One, the way it used to sound 10 or 15 years ago, when those cars still had a proper roar. A fantastic motorcycle, packed with every imaginable luxury, and with laser headlights to make sure you're ready for the night. And now we're on to the top 3, and I have to say, it was incredibly close. Number 3 really surprised me, the Honda NT 1100 DCT. Well, not that it's in the top 3, I personally had it very high up on my list. I've ridden it a lot this year, and also spent plenty of time on its predecessor. But I didn't expect so many others to feel the same way. It's a true value for money machine, exceptionally comfortable, especially now with the new semi-active suspension. It costs about a third of what the second and first place bikes do, and yet it's a brilliant touring motorcycle. The only weak point again is the load capacity. It comes with panniers as standard, and the total additional payload is just over 190 kilos. So if you're riding 2 up, you'll have to think about what you pack. But that doesn't take away from its success. A very worthy 3rd place. And finally, thank you Honda for finally giving us a blue NT. In 2nd place, also from the house of the winged logo, when you think of touring and luxury, there's really only one bike that comes to mind, the Honda Goldwing. Celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, it's back with a special edition color scheme. Technically, nothing has changed, but that's fine because it remains the absolute luxury yacht among touring bikes. It comes with a 7-speed gearbox, of course DCT only now, and honestly, that's all you need. The sound system is so powerful that you could probably wake your neighbor on the 48th floor if you wanted to. The flat-six engine delivers 125 horsepower and runs smoother than silk. Few bikes give you that same sense of confidence and control. And the wind protection, honestly, it's like being in a car. Once you raise the windscreen, you're completely shielded. A fantastic piece of engineering. If you haven't ridden a Goldwing yet, you really should try it at least once. So, who could possibly beat the Honda Goldwing? I honestly wasn't sure, but one bike managed it. Our long-term test bike of 2025, the incredible Harley-Davidson CVO Road Glide. Now, to be fair, ours was fully loaded with just about everything you can imagine, and a few things you probably shouldn't. Martin Bauer fitted special oil to the suspension, which now works amazingly well. You can even take it around a racetrack if you've got the right kind of madness or talent for it. He's proved it himself. We've also added the absurd Jekyll and Hyde exhaust system, which can switch between classic Harley Thunder and whisper quiet mode at the touch of a button. Euro 5 Plus hasn't ruined the sound, at least not if you go for the right accessories. A truly deserving number 1 in a stunningly over-the-top paint job. The price? Somewhere north of 50,000 euros in Germany, and that's just the base. Add another 10 grand for the paintwork, 8 for the suspension and 3 for the exhaust. It all adds up quickly if you want this level of luxury. I took it on the Balconel, and it's just a phenomenal touring bike. The only thing you really need to think about carefully is where to park it at night. Because if it disappears, that would be a real tragedy. We're coming to the final category of this video. The Sons of Anarchy are back, Chopper and Cruiser. And of course, which brand do we have to start with? In 10th place, one of my personal highlights, a bike you can buy just like this straight out of the box, the Harley-Davidson Breakout with the 117 cubic inch engine. An absolutely wicked American cruiser. And honestly, I think it's a bit underrated sitting here in 10th place. What do you think? Let me know down below. Next, we quarter the displacement and move to number 9, the Honda CMX 500 Rebel or Rebel S, the most successful cruiser on the German market in recent years, and it lands 9th in our ranking. An easygoing engine, an even more approachable seat height. Smaller riders will absolutely love it. For taller ones like me, it can be a bit of a challenge on longer rides, but still, I find it drop-dead gorgeous. And you don't have to worry if it hasn't been serviced for a while. It just keeps running and running. In 7th place, and we're sticking with the 500, but we're also jumping to the biggest production engine with 5 times the capacity. Sharing the spot are 2 bikes, the Bender Darkflag 500, an unbelievable machine with a V4 engine, air suspension, and all that tech for very little money. I've already had the chance to test it, and from next season it'll even be A2 compatible. Definitely give it a test ride, a wild experience. and great fun to ride. And on the other end of the scale, with 5 times the displacement, you experts already know who I'm talking about, the Triumph Rocket 3 GT. The ship's diesel, 3 massive cylinders pumping out a firework of torque, 255 Newton meters to be exact. The most absurd machine you can ride in this class. If you haven't tried it yet, do it. Absolutely sensational. Sticking with Triumph, in 6th place we've got what I still consider one of the most beautiful bikes on the market, the Triumph Bonneville Bobber. The floating single seat, the classic proportions, and those bar-end mirrors that suit no other bike quite as perfectly. It remains one of the most stunning motorcycles available, and despite being on the market for quite some time now, it still fully deserves its spot in the top 10. If you fancy a Bonneville Bobber but only have half the budget, then number 5 might be for you, the Royal Enfield Shotgun 650. We rode it last year on the Balkan Rally, a very charming cruiser and truly a lot of bike for the money. It weighs over 240 kilos but only puts out 48 horsepower. Don't let that fool you though, it keeps up surprisingly well with the heavy hitters. We tested it over 2,000 kilometers in the Balkans and it performed brilliantly. Also on that rally was our 4th place bike, the BMW R12, the smaller sibling of the R18 based on the engine from the R12-9T. BMW here offers a 95 horsepower cruiser that's comfortable and highly customizable, especially in the option 719 trim we had it in. Absolutely gorgeous, yet it's still packed with modern features like cruise control and heated grips. The only catch, if you start ticking too many boxes on the options list, you'll quickly pass the 20,000 euro mark. Now, onto the podium, the top 3 and also the highest new entry for 2025. In 3rd place, the Ducati X-Diavel V4. Ducati's done it again. I honestly wasn't sure if there'd ever be a successor to the X-Diavel V2, but here it is. I got to ride it at the press launch in May and again on the Balkan Rally, and it's an absolutely mind-blowing machine. It brings hyper performance into the cruiser world, 170 horsepower and a massive 240 rear tire. It's a true experience. And with this new version, it's finally become properly touring capable too. The extra rear suspension travel really makes a difference. As always, Ducati nails the details, flawless craftsmanship, stunning paintwork. On the rally, we had the purple version glittering beautifully in the evening light. What a sight at the exposed, machined rear wheel. It's a real head turner and it rides as good as it looks. In 2nd place, a true legend, the Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. Ever since the Terminator 2 days, when the Austrian oak himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, blasted through the streets on one, the name has been absolutely iconic. The Fat Boy fully deserves its place on the podium. And that brings us to number 1, the winner of the 2025 1000 PS Top Award in the chopper and cruiser category, the BMW R18. Once again this year, it couldn't be knocked off the top spot. It's simply a masterpiece, a showpiece, even a museum piece. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite achieved the sales success its looks deserve, in my opinion. Maybe it's down to the footpeg position, tucked behind that massive boxer engine forcing the rider into a bit of a toilet posture, or maybe it's something else entirely. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you like the top awards, but feel free to leave criticism too if you think some bikes can't really be compared, or if you'd like to see different categories next year. I'm always open to feedback, so hit those keys, drop your thoughts below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll just say, ciao baba, take care out there.